Imagine you wake up tomorrow and you no longer have any electricity. And then it's not just you, it's not just your city, but the whole country has lost power. What do we do, you and I? Many people believe we're on the verge of the drop-off into an energy crisis. Our older energy technologies may or may not kill us off. Our alternative energy solutions so far aren't able to keep up with the demands of our high-demand society. Let me be thoroughly clear with you for a minute. I'm not here to talk about emissions and air pollution. I don't want to talk about the effects of land and water pollution or the destruction of natural resources. I don't want to drone on about nuclear waste disposal problems. What I want to show you is that our dependence on coal and petroleum will cripple our capabilities and that we need to invest in a real solution. Fusion energy is humankind's best hope for a clean and nearly limitless energy supply. I became interested in fusion energy because of my love for physics. I love physics and mathematics, and that's kind of what I do. And I also have an interest in studying economics and market conditions. So first I want to show you why coal and oil, in particular, might be a major problem for us. And secondly, I want to tell you about the promising future of fusion energy. First, let's explore some information about the coal and oil industries. Coal and oil are still currently our main sources of energy for gasoline and for electricity generation. Coal is still used heavily for power generation. In fact, according to the Energy Information Administration's website, coal is used to generate about 37% of United States power, more than any other single source. There are a number of supply issues involved with coal. In an overview of U.S. coal production and consumption in the periodical Congressional Review, they call coal an abundant resource, but later go on to show how the cost of producing coal and its availability will be deeply burdened by coming environmental regulations that require reductions in sulfuric oxide, mercury, and other harmful substances. Petroleum has its own different problems. In an overview called When Will Oil Run Out by the Institution of Mechanical Engineers, a UK-based professional engineering firm, it says on their website that we have enough petroleum reserves to last only about 40 years. That's for everything, for plastics and home products and gas and oil and diesel that we use in our cars and trucks and planes. Everything. We have about 40 years left in the world's reserves. Crow and Gilson in Triumph of the Drill and Mother Jones Magazine describe how the oil industry, though, has received over $470 billion in subsidies from the United States government. In David Strahan's 2012 article for New Scientist, Dump the Pump and Still on the Slippery Slope, he argues not only that there is likely a peak to oil production, but we have likely already seen it come and go. Other resources that we use have problems as well. Natural gas is a large energy source coming in behind oil at about 30%, but much of it's obtained through the process of fracking, the lasting effects of which are completely unknown and very hotly debated. Wind farms and solar panels depend on processes, namely wind and sunlight, that are beyond our control. We can't control the weather. The Missouri S&T Group's 2012 article, A Framework of Cost-Effectiveness Analysis for Alternative Energy Strategies, in the Engineering Management Journal, says the complexity of alternative energy strategies requires that analytical methods focus not only on monetary issues, but also on various effects that cannot be expressed in monetary terms, like how comfortable are you not having electricity on a given Tuesday next month. So we see that the current state of energy production and resource availability is endangered. Now let us look at what a real solution, fusion energy, promises to be. Brian Cox, a high-energy physicist at the University of Manchester, says in the BBC documentary, Can We Make a Star on Earth? Well, he puts it this way. Is there a way to produce all of the energy needed for every person on Earth? There is a way, in principle, to provide that energy in a way that doesn't harm the planet. But what is fusion energy and how is it different from nuclear power? Traditional nuclear power relies on radioactive materials that produce waste. This waste is hard to dispose of. Simple fact. Fusion, alternatively, requires only hydrogen isotopes, which are plentifully available in the oceans. Fusion may even have additional fuel sources like helium-3 on the moon, of all places. According to Steve Dobransky in his 2013 article, Helium-3, The Future of Energy Security, in the International Journal on World Peace, there's apparently 4 to 5 billion tons of this stuff on the moon. In all, fusion will be much more energy than we actually need, and it's much closer than we thought. Holly Else and her Safer Nuclear Power to Become Reality in the Journal of Professional Engineering calls fusion the holy grail in the quest for sustainable energy sources. In an article entitled High-Powered Lasers Deliver Fusion Energy Breakthrough on Scientific American's website, just in February of this year, David Biello reported that we have been able to generate more power at one of our fusion projects in the United States than it took to create that energy. This is a term called exceeding unity. It's the first time that's happened. It's a really big deal and a huge step forward in the process of generating fusion energy as a lifetime sustainable resource. So now imagine you wake up tomorrow and you no longer have to wonder whether the lights are going to come on, or what the price of gas is going to be when you leave your door, or what your carbon footprint is. I shared with you today an explanation of why our current reliance on existing methods of energy production and reliance on oil put us in a risky position. But then we explored the bright future that fusion has to offer and how we are closer to that goal than we ever have been before. If we the people, in order to form a more perfect world, were to push for the funding of fusion advancement over funding the fossil fuel dinosaurs, we could see this happen well within our lifetimes. I ask you, though, only to do one thing to take part in this process. Just one thing. Inform yourself and look at the promising future for yourself. Right now, just go to science.energy.gov/FES. That's science.energy.gov/FES. Do it right now. Don't even wait for me to finish. Doing this is the next best step to securing our energy future and freeing ourselves from the antiquated ideas of 19th century energy sources.